interesting. Or I thought it was interesting. Was it boring or was it interesting?
It was interesting.
It was interesting. Of course, it was interesting. What was interesting?
In cemetery.
The cemetery. The cemetery
cemetery
was interesting. When was the cemetery interesting?
In November 1st.
It was interesting
In the
on
day of
the Day of the Dead, November 1st. Okay, the atmosphere in the cemetery was like a party. Was the atmosphere very sad?
No, it was very
No,
sad.
the atmosphere was not sad. The atmosphere was like a party. The atmosphere was very happy. Was the atmosphere sad or happy?
The atmosphere
was happy.
Happy.
The atmosphere was
was
like a party. What was like a party?
The atmosphere.
The atmosphere
like a
in
party.
the cemetery was like a party. Where was the atmosphere like a party?
In cemetery, the
In the
atmosphere
cemetery.
like a party.
The cemetery.
In cemetery.
The atmosphere was like a party in the cemetery. Was the atmosphere like a party at my house?
No.
No, not at my house. The atmosphere was like a party in the cemetery.
The atmosphere like a party.
The atmosphere was not like a party
the cemetery.
in my house. So the atmosphere was like a party. There were people everywhere. Families were sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors. Where were the families sitting?
Around the graves.
Around the graves.
They were
sitting around the graves.
The graves.
Who was sitting around the graves?
Families.
The families were sitting around the graves. Were they sitting around the trees?
No.
No, they weren't sitting around the trees.
Those trees.
They were sitting around the graves. So, where were they sitting? Around the graves. Families were sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors. Were they sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors?
Yes.
Yes, they were sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors. Were they sitting around the graves of their friends?
No.
No, not really. They were sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors.
The dead ancestor.
Who was sitting around the graves?
Families.
That's right. Families were sitting around the graves. Whose graves were they sitting around? Whose graves were they sitting around?
The dead ancestor.
Yes, their dead ancestors. Their ancestors. Their ancestors' graves. They were sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors. Were they sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors or the graves of their friends.
The graves, the dead
Ancestors, right? They were sitting around the graves of their dead
ancestor.
ancestors.
Yes.
They cleaned the graves and added fresh flowers. Who cleaned the graves? That's right, the families.
The families.
What did they add? They added fresh flowers.
Flowers.
Did they add food?
No, they didn't food.
No, they didn't add food. Did they add money?
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't
money.
add money. They added
Money.
fresh flowers.
They add fresh flowers.
What did they clean?
They cleaned the
They
graves.
cleaned the graves. Whose graves did they clean?
Their
ancestors, right? They cleaned their ancestors' graves.
They cleaned their ancestors'
Where
graves.
did they add flowers? Where?
In the
Oh,
graves.
they added flowers to the graves. That's right. They cleaned the graves
They cleaned
and
the
added
graves
fresh flowers.
and fresh flowers.
Good. I walked through the cemetery
Oh,
and admired the beauty of all the colorful flowers. Where did I walk?
the cemetery. I
Through
walked through
the
the
cemetery.
cemetery.
I walked through the cemetery. Did I walk through the park?
No, I didn't.
No,
through
I didn't
the
walk through
at
the park. I walked
I
through
walked through
the cemetery.
The cemetery.
Where did I walk?
In cemetery.
Through
I
the
walked
cemetery.
Through the cemetery.
Who walked through the cemetery?
Me. It's me.
I did.
Walked
AJ.
through the
I
cemetery.
walked through the cemetery. Did I walk through the cemetery or did I walk through the park?
I walked through
I
the
walked
cemetery.
through the cemetery. That's right. And I admired the beauty of all the colorful flowers. Did I admire the beauty of the trees?
No, I didn't.
No,
I
I didn't admire the beauty
admire the
of
beauty
the trees.
of those trees.
Did I admire the beauty
in the
of the children?
no,
No, I didn't
I
admire
didn't
the
admire
beauty
the
of the
beauty
children.
of the children.
What did I admire?
The beautiful
Flowers,
fresh
right?
flowers.
Yeah, I admired the beauty of all the colorful flowers.
Yes, color flowers.
Who admired the beauty of all the colorful flowers?
Me, it's me.
That's right. AJ, me,
the
admired the beauty of all the colorful flowers.
Of colorful flowers. Of all
Where
colorful
were the flowers?
in the cemetery.
On the graves, right?
On
In the
grave-
cemetery.
In cemetery.
The flowers were on the graves in the cemetery. Were the flowers in the park?
No.
No, they weren't in the park. Were the flowers in my
Yes.
house?
No, it
No,
wasn't
they
in my
weren't
house.
in my house. Where were the flowers?
The graves on
The
the
flowers
graves
were
in the
on
cemeteries.
the graves in the cemetery.
Yes,
Where did I walk?
I walked through
I
the
walked
cemeteries.
through the cemetery. When did I walk through the cemetery?
On November 1st of the day and
November 1st,
the day of the
the
dead.
dead. Right, November 1st, the Day of the Dead, I walked through
through
the
the
cemetery.
cemeteries.
What was the cemetery like?
the atmosphere.
Like a party. It was like a party.
Atmosphere
The cemetery
like a party.
was like a party.
Yes.
Was I curious about this holiday?
Yes. I was
Yes, I was
curious
curious
about this
about this holiday.
Holiday.
Which holiday was I curious about?
The Day of the Dead. I curious about
The Day of the Dead.
About this.
I was
The
curious
Day of
about
the Dead.
the Day of the Dead. So I walked through the cemetery. There was also color in the sky because many kids